everybody, this is Teri from Sweet Pea Papers, the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, the Junk Journal Tutorials and More Facebook group, and the Junk Journal and Paper Crafts Facebook group. Merry Christmas. Yesterday was Christmas. I'm recording this as video 5 in our Frosted Forest series. I realize this is the first week or the second week of January, but I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. Don't forget that you can sign up for the membership to the Sweet Pea Papers YouTube channel, and then you get 2 free live crafting chats a month, and a 25% discount in the shop. And the video chats are going to start once I get 10 people in there, so that I'm not doing it by myself. There's just a couple people right now, so get on in there and take advantage at the beginning. Okay, so in video 5 we're going to make the cover. I finished the second and third signatures off camera. I'll show you. This is the one we did together. I went through and added the words and this paper ribbon underneath, and then I had some snowflakes, some wooden snowflakes, so I used those throughout. And this one says Snowflake because I decided that was his name. The second signature is called Memories, and it is all writing pages. I used white since the journal is white. I've got a card in the front. I don't think I have anything in the back. Okay, that's just a filler, really. And then we have the third signature, and it also has a snowflake charm, and it has other stuff in it that you'll see in the flip through. They both have the butterflies on the front, or moths, I mean. If you look at their bodies, you can tell because there's a little furry spot. They're moths. So let's get these put in the cover. We'll go as far as we can every once in a while, or I usually run over an hour, or we'll keep going, one of the two. I've already cut the cardboard and glued it to the paper to get us a head start. That's easy enough that you can do. You glue 2 pieces of white paper, and for this particular cover, depending on what color your scheme is, you know what I mean, you could probably use purple for this if it was a dark enough purple. Just 2 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper together on the portrait orientation. Then this is 1 3/4 by 9. These are 6 by 9s with an Oz here. Okay, so that's that. So all we need to do now is finish wrapping this around the cover, putting the inside and the front covers on. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to trim the corners. And I use this tool. It's called a bookmaker's tool. You can get it on Amazon. Use this notch right here. There's 5 different things that you can do. You can use this to measure in between your signatures. It does actually fit on this one. That means it's probably a little wide. The opening is probably a little wide. It must have slid a little bit on the glue. I don't like to make them too loosey-goosey this way, but you do have to kind of fold this up and make sure, yeah, see, it moved, that this will fold against this and it doesn't get hung up. That's the main thing. So you just put this on here, and this will give you your 45-degree angle to cut. I didn't do that one right because it should go all the way across the page, or the corner, I mean, like so. You're gonna have to put this on top, but I know where to cut. I can continuously cut that. Now that one gave me my full line. Oh, it's just the way the cardboard is. I put 3 layers of cardboard instead of 2 because I'm using cereal boxes. I wanted a little bit sturdier cover. I've been having trouble with my covers kind of being a little flimsy. Not flimsy, but just lighter weight than what I would want. So I've started using 3 cereal boxes thick instead of 2. And you're just going to cut these corners off like so. I usually cut just a smidge inside the line or exactly on the line because this will give you a nice point corner, but sometimes it's a little too pointy for me. You're going to need another piece of white paper, and I'll show you that in a second. And you're also going to need 2 more pieces of cereal box. You can cut them 6x9, but you don't need them 6x9. You need them smaller, and I'll show you that too. We'll do that in the front cover. So now all we have to do is glue this. So we want to kind of tell it what we're going to do. Do that all the way around. This should be a 1-inch, an 11-inch paper, so you should have 1 inch on the top and 1 inch on the bottom. And then you'll have 2 inches to either side, or about that, 1 3/4 inches, something like that. I used 1 3/4 inch spine. You probably could have got away with 1 5/8 inches, but who wants to divide that into thirds, right? So it's going to be a little gappy on the inside at where the skinny part is, but it's going to be just right where the fat part is. So I fill my glue bottle all the way when I first am starting a journal cover, because it uses a lot of glue. Across the top, down the side, and then you want to be able to glue the paper to the cardboard. Pick it up, slide it towards you, flip it over. A piece of glue here, a clump of glue. I didn't print a page for the spine. Can use this for the spine. No, I can't because it has to be borderless size. I'll have to print that out. Darn it. I'm going to do that the rest of the way around. Make sure it's glued down. Take your bone folder, your rounded one like this. Do not use the point, and just make that little indentation right there, and the little indentation right there. Your bone folder should fit right in there. That's another way you can use your bone folder for a gap gauge as well. Do the long sides first. On this, a little bit of extra glue. Oh yeah, see the glue's coming out of my bottle better. I think it's a little bit better than less, except at the corners. You don't want it gushing out. Flip it up, slide it towards you. This bracelet got caught. You can hear it cracking. It hasn't stuck, or stuck yet. I have little balls of glue all over my counter, so they come right off. Most of this will be covered, but still, you don't want to have to keep taking them off. If you end up with a little kind of an overhang with a hollow area, fill it with glue, not super much, but, and then we're going to use our scoring tool, if it's like a dotting tool, to push that corner down. Okay, where's my dotting tool? And you just want to push this down like so. And you want to do it on the other one like so. That means I cut too far away. Get the glue off of there. Oh, here's the bigger end. It worked better. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing. Slide and fold. And that makes a nice corner. You're going to want to get rid of any glue that seeps out. Same thing in this little corner. That little corner. I was watching Fear of the Living Dead, and I fell asleep while I was watching it, which I hate because it's on Tubi. It's really hard with the chapters and not the chapters, but the episodes and stuff to get it to go back where you want. It doesn't want to rewind and stuff correctly. Maybe just on my TV, I don't know. But Tubi has a lot of good stuff. Okay, so right now we don't really have a top and a bottom. We're about to. We're going to put this piece, which is the same size, the same height as these pieces, which should be. If it's not, make sure it is. Oh, it's not. Cut about an 1/8 off. That's right, because I just cut this piece in half. I didn't make it shorter because I wasn't using it. Alright. So you want it to be the same size as your journal pages. Okay. And then this one is a little wide. We got 1 3/4, 2 3/4, 3 3/4. No, I guess it's about right. So we're going to glue it over the spine on the inside. We're going to glue it here, here, and here. Oh, I didn't make a little. And that's for where it folds. Kind of remind it where it's supposed to fold. Then we're going to put this on, so we need to glue it. You want to glue this one pretty good. You don't want the where it folds, you don't want that to bubble up. I've had that happen to me before. After I got the book all the way done, and I was just furious with myself. And it only happens if you don't put enough glue in the center. So you want to make sure to put enough glue in the center. Which I don't normally do. I know I can hear you guys saying that, but this is the exception to my you don't need glue in the center speech. So make sure you've got some glue in the center. Especially at the ends. Okay. I've been watching musicals. I purchased the Phantom of the Opera, the one that's recorded in the Royal Albert Hall. You want to put this equal top and bottom. And you want it to be straight. And I've watched Phantom of the Opera, West Side Story, Wicked, and I got that song Popular stuck in my head. Oh, that's going to be underneath. It's okay. All right, so I'm going to put my little scoring tool away, the little one. I'm going to take my bone folder. I'm going to go right along this line and do the same thing I did. Do not use the point. Use the rounded part. And you should be able to follow it fairly easily if you left the right amount of room. If you left too much room, then you're going to be all kinds of stuff in there. Okay, so we got that, and we can put our bone folder away. Unless you like to, you know, scrape over your papers. Okay, now for the inside papers, I've decided to use these, or this. So let's cut it in half. And I thought that would be a pretty backdrop to our poster, our journal with the frosted forest. You don't have to use one with an image. You could just use the colors. You could also use one of those really pretty flower papers that comes with. Now you'll see that this is the center, and I put the left on the left and the right on the right. And I did that because I am a nut person and I want to see that up against there with it correct. So make sure that you've got it over as far as you want. Line it up bottom and top with this paper here, and then we're just going to glue them on. Now if you want to tie, now's the time to put it on. I had thought about using this, but then it looked too Christmassy, so I'm not going to do that. And I don't really want to use white ribbon, and it doesn't really need it. It doesn't need to be tied shut. It's not a gator mouth, so I'm just going to leave it. So see, you could just use this, and that would be pretty as well. And then there's another one that's got more purple in it. Which is this one. Which isn't bad. But I like the trees. I'm going with the trees. I'm not going to change my mind 6 times. We're zooming right along. It's the outside that's going to take a little bit longer, but I'm pretty sure we'll be fine. Oh, I think I need 2 of those other papers. So just put it over as far as you're comfortable putting it, and just glue it down. Doesn't look like I used enough glue on the sides. right along the teeny tiny edge. Usually with a cover I will put that little extra bead of glue on there. It's still it just wants to poke up a little bit. I think 2 times is about the number of times I'm going to be able to move this. Get it a little more even here at the bottom. I don't think it moved at all, but you can use your finger when the glue is still wet, or just come in with your glue eraser. Okay, we're just going to do the other side. Yeah, this looks Okay. I've done it twice. There's glue there. Darn it. I'm getting hungry. I'm on a diet. Still, Merry Christmas to me. But I broke my diet yesterday to have my Christmas pizza. I have one every year. And I was chatting with my friend Claudine and my other friend Joy on the messenger. And all of a sudden, well, actually, I was just talking to Claudine at the time, and she doesn't have a website, I mean, a page or anything, or I would tell you. Joy's is JJ with Joy. And someone knocked on my door, and I'm like, hold on, there's someone at my door, and she started laughing. And it was the Domino's guy. With my Christmas pizza. I didn't even have to buy it. It was a Christmas present. The best kind of present, which is Christmas pizza. Now this one could have been in a little further, but it's all right. Yeah, see, I like that. Okay, now I need to flip it over. And I always go ahead and bend it at this point so I can see the spine. And I am going to have to put you on pause and print 2 pieces of paper, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I left 2 pages out that I need to print. Okay, we're back. Now this is what we're going to need to do our cover. I have, it says Frosted Forest right here, so we're going to use that because that's the name of the book. Then I've got my wooden snowflakes. I've got my front and back cover. This was 1 page, and I cut it apart. All the tan frame ended up on this side. Must have cut it off just a little bit. Doesn't matter. And then you're going to need 3 pages that are the same, unless you're going to do the back cover different than the front. Printed borderless. Okay? And then we're going to use some of this behind the word, or the words Frosted Forest. So let's start with the front cover, and then depending on time we'll do the back cover, but the back cover's done. Oh, you also need 2 pieces of chipboard, which this is just cereal box board. So it's just a smidge thicker than lightweight chipboard. Okay, so you're going to need 2 of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the spine first. I always do. That gives me the height that I want for the front and the back covers. And that way I know they all match. Okay, so for the spine, I want to use the flowers in the center of the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over this way. All right, and then I'm going to measure how wide I need it to be, which is from here to here. And then I'll cut that out, and then we'll do the length, which is going to be 9, but it's going to be a little bit less. Remember, your covers are 6 by 9. That's pretty too. Okay, so we've got the flowers down the center. Double check my width. That almost looks a smidge too wide. I don't want it to stick out over the sides. Oh, I think it'll be getting dinged. Okay. That looks alright. Let's do our length. Now, we want this to be down just a little bit and then up just a little bit from the bottom. When you're leaving those borders, when you're making your pages. So this is our spine. Then we're going to determine from it which is top and which is bottom. Okay, I was double checking who that was. I have a friend that I might have needed to talk to today just in case, so I checked it real quick. My phone is sitting on my computer desk, which I usually put it in the living room because it's kind of loud. Now I want this to go this way. I'm just going to flip it over that way. This also needs to be glued down really well. You don't have to go quite as crazy as that piece of white paper on the inside. Okay, I'm going to glue it down because we want to make sure that we put our spine on first before we punch the holes for our cords. All right, now let's double check this again, folding it. It's going to be close, so I want to make sure we've got it lined up just right. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let me make sure that's glued down. How pretty is that? And we'll have the white cords. I don't think I have any purple beads or Christmas beads. So now that means this is going to be the front. This is going to be the back. You don't have to label the back. Once you label the front, then obviously the other one is the back. Okay, so what we want to do on the front, I want to use this, but you can see how small it is on the page. So I'm going to take the other piece of the flowered paper and I'm going to make it the same height as this, and then leave just a little bit of white around the edges for the width. Does not matter because we're going to put our other picture over this. All right, so don't freak out about it. We just want to measure the height correctly. And then let's get this straightened up. And then our width. Okay. Let's check this. How pretty is that? Look, this has a little flaw in the print. Darn it. Sometimes with full page you get that. I'm going to trim it off. It's only about 1/16 of an inch, but I don't like it. Okay, so then we'll glue this centered on the page. Pretty, pretty. And then we're going to put this on top. And see, you'll see the borders all with the chipboard underneath this to raise it up a little bit. But we're going to glue this directly to the cover. And this can be glued just like I normally do any other page. Chipboard and everything else on top of the center. Everything will be fine. This has to be a little crooked, because there was no white at the top. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing on the back, and then we're going to wait. We're going to put the holes and everything in before we put all that chipboard and stuff on there. We're going to do the spine, the rest of the spine. Should have done both the same size. When I was measuring, you know what I mean, I should have just cut them out together. And you want it to go pretty close to the edge. Normally you would leave a little bit more, but this is your backing paper, and you do want that little bit of a white contrast. You don't want to go completely to the edge, but and it looks like you're leaving more than you are here because it folds. So once you fold it on the front, you see it's only about this wide. I don't know why, but this paper looks a little crooked to me. Maybe I cut it a little crooked. Not enough to make me freak out, but just enough that I know. which makes me freak out. If you wanted to, you could cut this piece height-wise first before you cut the bottom. I don't know why I didn't think of that, and you would have had enough to do the spine without printing another page. But I didn't think of that before I printed the third page. It's okay. We have lots extra. Why don't I have another, oh, because I cut the other one the other way. But I was going to say this would make a nice pocket on the journal on the back maybe, but I'm not going to do that. I like the pictures too much. Alright, so let's get this glued on. Sometimes I have to break this into 2 videos. We've already gone 40 minutes. So I may make this a 7-video series. And we'll just make the cover in this, and then we'll decorate it in the second one. Oops, in a second video. Because it takes a hot second to put the cords in. There's math involved. Oh, look how wide that is. That's way too wide. Or is it? No, it's fine. It is upside down, however. Yeah, I had to pause West Side Story to make this video. The old one, not the new Steven Spielberg one. I tried to watch it, didn't like it. Messed all the songs up. Mishmashed them together. I don't know, I just didn't like it. Okay, so we've got this part done. We've got this part done. Now to put the cords in isn't hard. We want to find the center, and we're going to put the holes right about where this paper meets the journal, a hardcover part, our paper that goes through the center. So we want to measure and get the center of 1 3/4, and I'm going to do that by using my zeroing ruler until I get the same on both sides, which is about right there. And that's where my first hole is going to be. Okay, then I'm going to go halfway so I can actually do it again. Put the second one here, and then do this over here. far is that? It's 7/8. So that's going to be 3. 1, 2. There. I'm going to get out my T-square. I think I'm going to do my T-square this time, since we already know where the line is, how long we want it to be. And you just, it's got a hooky lip on one side and it's smooth on the other, so switch it over so the lip hooks onto your journal. Make your ruler edge even with this dot, and then just make another dot right below it, right where the seam is. Rinse and repeat. Okay, that's more of a line than a dot. And then we're just going to make our holes where the dots are with our crocodile. I don't have any white eyelets or silver eyelets, so I'm not going to use eyelets. I'm just going to make the holes and run the cord. You want the smaller hole if you're not going to use an eyelet. If you are going to use an eyelet, put it on the bigger hole, then do your eyelet with the eyelet setting. Okay? So I'm just going to make a hole with the line. Now my hands are a little, it really isn't that hard to do, but it's 3 layers thick instead of 2. Sure my neighbor appreciates that. I should have done the one closest to me first. So I can make sure they're lined up. Okay, we're just going to go to this end and do the same thing. And I'm putting, there's a little notch on the post when it comes down. I'm putting the little notch right on this line. And I'm standing up. Chihuahua. Okay, all done. Wow, that looks pretty good. Then you're going to have all these little punch where it punched it out. These little remnants from the middle. Okay. You know, I didn't even look to see. We did get lucky, and this was right side up. You want to check the inside to the front to make sure it's going to be right side up. Let me get my white cord, which I'm going to have to buy some more of. This is 1.5 mil elastic cord. You don't want to get the super thick, and you do not want to get that thinner one because it just doesn't really hold the weight of the signature. So we only need, let me check my beads real quick. I do have some purple ones, but I don't think the holes are big enough for the elastic to go through. I've got big snowflakes, but they don't have 2 holes. They've only got 1. Those would have been perfect, like to put one big snowflake in the middle on the center cord. Alright, so we'll just make it plain, which is fine. We've got the beautiful flowers. A lot of glue there. The corners turned out nice on this one. So take the end of your cord, feed it through from the front, take it to the center, bring your roll around, your spool around the outside, okay, and overlap it by just a little bit. Remember, you're going to be pulling these tight, stretchy tight, and then cut it. And before you tie it, remember to go back. I don't know if you can tell that I've done this before and forgotten to put it through the hole, and then bring it back and then tie it. And we're just going to repeat the process for 2 more times, and then we'll have it all done. Then we can go back to doing the front and back. I also run the knot all the way up to the top. That way it doesn't make that that bulge in the center of the signature. Okay. I'm just going to do it 2 more times. And I just overlap it about 1 inch and cut it. Doesn't matter where it's at when you tie it. You can slide it to wherever you want it to be, the knot. And the 3rd time. 3rd time's a charm. Push it up through. Wrap it around. Overlap 1 inch or so. But this is really stretchy and you want to pull it really tight, so you want to be able to have a nice snap. You can always retie them. If you need to, just cut it on either side of the knot, pull the strings, the cords together, the cord ends together, and retie. See, this one's a little long, but I need them a little long because of my fingers to tie the knots. This is a little excessive though. I did make this one a little too long. Okay. Alright, we're at 50 minutes. So let's go back to the front. Make sure we're right side up, which actually this is upside down, I think. Then you're going to want to take a piece of chipboard and cut it just a little bit smaller than this. So make your measurements. and then cut it inside of it just a little bit. And keep the cardboard. That's no good. Okay, and then keep your pieces. I mean, you can use them to cut out to put behind words and stuff, which we're going to do. So we're going to take this and move it up here, and we're going to glue this to this. And it doesn't matter which side we glue it to, because we're going to glue it down and you're not going to see it. It's just going to raise this paper up, the thickness of this chipboard. If you put it the exact size and glue it right to the very edge, then you can do it too thick and stand it up a little more if you want. You can put lace around, you know, underneath the edge. That's pretty. Also a pretty darn good idea. But kind of have another idea. At least the front cover. We probably won't do the back cover. It's done exactly like the front cover, only without the word on it. Oh, mine's really close to the same size. Okay, and then you're just going to turn it over and glue this to the center of that. Now this would be where you would put the lace on the back of this and put it on there, but since I didn't ink or anything and we did it very pristine, I think I'm just going to do this, and I might put some of that eyelashy looking trim with the gold, little gold flakes in it around the outside edge. So we'll see. Okay, make sure your house is right side up, or your picture that everything is falling because it's not in the right place. So that looks nice. Let's get it over a little bit. And it stands up a little bit. So if I decide to put some of this around, which I might, because of the eyelash trim, make it look kind of fairy-like, I just run it along the edge of this lip. I'll just put glue there and then just lay it down on there. Alright, so for the word, it's going to be easy. We're just going to cut it out first. I should have had it cut out. Sorry about that. Should have had it cut out. That's what I'm muttering. All right, now, do I want it over here with the stuff around it, or do I want to make it in the center? I think I want to do it in the center and the top. I don't know though, because these look like snowflakes coming down. And I might like it better over there. It does weight all the eye contact stuff into the corner though. And it's also one snowflake versus two. If I put it down here, I'm going to have one snowflake. If I do it at the top, I'm going to have two. I'm going to find two that are alike. Yes, there are two snowflakes that are alike. That no two snowflakes are alike is a myth. Anyway, so see down here, I could do it like this. Oh, which I rather like. Or up here, like this. Which I rather like as well. I think I'm going to do it at the top with the two snowflakes. Okay. So let's get a piece of chipboard that's a little smaller than this so we can stand the word out. This is how I do it. Okay, so we'll glue that to that. Oops, we're going to need our scissors again. Put it on there straight. All right, then I'm gonna take a piece of this, I think, perfect. Cut that crooked. Put this behind. So we'll put this on here first. Just put a little stripe of glue. Not very much. Approximately where you're going to put it. Right. Well, and that's why you have fun working with this stuff. Okay. Hard to tell, it's hard to see. Just put your words in the center. So we can glue the cardboard. Make sure they're right side up. Put it in the center of that. Make sure it's straight and in the center. And then we're just going to glue on our snowflakes, and I'm going to glue them to the paper to cover up that extra purple that we don't really need. Doesn't take very much. Fabri-Tac will hold these little wooden snowflakes on. And in fact, It will hold metal buttons and stuff on too. And I'm lining the snowflakes up. Glue coming out through the middle. So that's going to be the front of our cover. Now to, we're going to have to wait a sec for that to dry. I didn't think about that. Before we put the signatures in, I have to give it a hot second. And then I'll do the back. I'll put the cardboard and put this on. I'm going to have any words on the back. If I decorate, which I might, put that fringy stuff around, then I will do it on the back. Okay, so then to put your signatures in is simple. Open it to the center of the signature. Okay. Let me just bookmark out for just 1 second. And you just feed it through like so, and then you slide it. I'm getting caught on something. There we go. Oh. Okay. Then you slide it on. Line it up with the center of this. Fold it over. Oh, the butterfly was getting caught on the front cover of that one. And our second signature is going to be even easier. Or it should be. The holes are a little short. That one goes right in. It was just ephemera that got stuck. Open it to the center where all my little cards fall out all the time. I put a gusseted pocket in against my better judgment. And now I've got 5 cards in there and they're still falling out. I'm just going to slide it in like so. Oh, that one worked easy too. Oops. Okay. Then your book is done. Okay. So I just finished the back up. Put your bookmark in. I think I'm going to put the bookmark in the center of the second signature. I'm going to have it stick out of the top a little bit. Well, I think that turned out nice. What do you guys think? Yes, sirree, Bob. I'm trying to find where the end is. Here it is, I think. There it is. I wonder if I put some of this around to make it look a little more snowy. I do actually like that, so I probably will. Okay? Alright, so that's it for the cover, and I will see you guys in the flip through so that you can see all 3 signatures completed. And it's been fun. I love this kit. It's by Ink and Page, and it's called Frosted Forest. And I will see you in the flip through. Bye bye.